Buena Park Raceway has seen a lot of racing. It was the scene of the 2005 NATS from August 12th to August 21st, where racers from all over the world came to compete, sharing their passion for racing.
As long as it's been going on, it is still the most popular unknown hobby.
Some people prefer to call it a hobby. I think it's a sport when the adrenaline level goes that high. And for us, it is a sport. For certain people, it's a hobby. For the guys that race tomorrow, it's a sport.
Well, started in the heyday, the 60s. Started with a little monogram Ferrari. Originally, I had cousins that did it like in 1962, and I just ran the cars around. I did it for a couple of years at a bowling alley, a track in a bowling alley.
Do you like it when you beat the boys?
Yeah, it's really fun because sometimes they'll kind of be a little shocked.
When it boils right down to it, we all started doing this because it's fun, and no matter what happens, try to have fun and stay cool.
A slot car is the fastest man-made vehicle in the world. It can accelerate from a standing start to 60 miles an hour in 0.3 of a second. They can turn a lap in this 155-foot Blue King track in 1.5 seconds. These are not toy cars. They are finely crafted, highly tuned vehicles that put the joy of racing within everyone's reach.
Pick them up, you got 20 minutes.
At the 2005 NATS, over 200 people competed in over 8 classes, both professional and amateur. From paint job to chassis, each car is unique. The racers are too. Each one has a story. Some have more than one.
Well, the thing was, he was in Brazil, and after the race we had a barbecue, Brazilian barbecue. So we was at home, relaxed, so we started to have a couple beers. But I was in front of the fire, and when you are in front of the fire, having alcohol, you don't get drunk. So when I saw him halfway of being bad, I told my wife, he's done. She said, not yet. Let's complete the job. I said, okay, you do it. So she started to drink with him. Equal parts for both. Couple drinks more, Benny was, more meat, and he was shaking. He wasn't good anymore. At a certain point, he was in the chair sleeping like this, like that. Say, more drinks, you're a man or you're a rat? I'm a man, keep drinking. And then my wife comes with those makeup pencils and did him a cat face. So finally we wake him up. Benny, let's go to the airport. Oh yeah, we need to go to the airport? Yeah, let's go. But Benny, you need to try to walk straight because they don't let you jump in the flight if you're drunk. We get in the airport, walking, and everybody was looking at him and laughing. And he looked at me, why everybody's laughing at me? I said, well, because you're not running straight. So he jumped in the flight with that face, and all night the servers, oh, here is your food. Oh, no, thank you, and laugh. My face, what's wrong with my face? Go to the bathroom. When he hit the bathroom and look, go f***ing goo-goo.
Hey, I've heard that story about enough out of you now. That's not funny anymore.
That's
I
true.
think I'm tired of it. I don't do it no more, you hear me?
Yeah.
The 2005 NATS kicked off with racing the Spec 15 class. The track was fast and the action furious. The driver's enthusiasm set the tone for the days to come.
Was it running okay other than...
Yeah.
Between heats, veteran Monty Oren gave advice to a young racer.
Back in 1964, late, probably October or November, Popular Mechanics magazine ran a 3 or 4 page article entitled, "Check out the new sport of slot car racing." At the time, I'd been a Cub Scout building crystal radios and that sort of thing. It looked sort of techie to me, and it was, well, fascinating.
These 8 racers made it to the main. As the heats progressed, so did the level of intensity. It may have been the first race of the Nats, but the drivers were in top form. Between heats, you'll find the drivers working on their cars, like Robert Park.
I recently started about 3 years ago doing NASCAR classes, and then last year I went to Tulsa, my first Nats, and made the main event. So this year I'm back at home running and see how I can do tomorrow.
You should have 10 turn marshals in this space. We should be strategically positioned around the track. 45, drivers, 45 seconds, 17. Cars coming on now.
Do you just race wing cars?
Oh, no. Yeah, I race wing cars, but I race box stock and this. Well, I'm definitely going to make it to semi-pros because I got a qualifying motor that'll go 2.70 seconds.
Does your dad race?
No, he's my pit man.
Been racing for about maybe 2 years now. I think it's pretty fun. Started out with box stock. It's really a big help when the guys are willing to help you. Forest Watchers and Jim Swafford, they've all helped me out.
Don't be afraid of it, man. Race out, figure it out.
Everyone had their own way of dealing with the pressure.
I need the pacifier, you guys. Coming out. Put you there. I can't shut up.
When all was said and done, James Grinstead took first, Bob Lucky second, and Colin Herzig third. Compared to the previous day, there were many more racers in attendance for the Amateur Group 12 race. Spirits were high as racers tried to keep their cars under control the best they could. Qualifying was fast, with 3 racers breaking the old track record. Joe Chevy wound up TQing, setting a new track record. 31 drivers battled to make the main. These are the ones who got there. Bob Lucky was first, Sam Rackham second, and David Key third. Next up was Pro Group 12. 33 different racers were vying for the top spot. Joe Chubby Salzman set a new world record in qualifying with a time of 2.3184. The 33-man field was cut down to 8. It looked promising for Chubby at the first heat of the main, starting at number 1. Chubby maintained his number 1 position until heat 5, when Urkel knocked him off the top spot. Finally, Urkel was able to keep his number 1 spot and beat them all. Urkel took first, Joe second, and Chris Radisich third.
How's the track? How's everything working today?
The track's great, and you know that because I built it. What do you want me to say about the track? Right. No, it's working well. How can it not be? I mean, we've run, 5, 6 classes now, and we've set a world record in every class.
It's a phenomenally fast track, but it's a very unforgiving track. We're seeing a lot of accidents here, as you're probably well aware. I'm sure I'm not the first person to comment on that.
In my trade, being the electrical contractor, I'm just using my experience with my trade to bring the power to the track.
On many other tracks, if your car's not quite right, well, you can just drive a little slower. On this track, you can't. You've either got to be 100% or you are just being shredded.
The Nats attract a diverse group of young racers just starting out to some venerable old pros.
The first thing that I ran was a Skelestric home set, and it had a wheel that fit in a slot. And we had a van wall and a Ferrari, and we wore those things out.
Actually, from watching these late model open races, we were gentlemen compared to this stuff. I don't know, we were a different breed of people. Nobody yelled hardly at all. I remember a big race in Texas where It was the Hemisphere race, 1968. It was supposedly, it still might be the biggest race ever held. There was over 250 pro drivers entered, all open cars. And I happened to win the race, but in attendance was the President of Mexico's son with an entourage. They were around the donut. So on Saturday night before the main, I learned the colors in Spanish so I could call it out, and it actually worked. In a donut, I came out a few times, yelled rojo, I was back on red, and I was gone.
On day 4, the amateur and pro international 15 classes were running.
There's 3. Where's the other 3?
The atmosphere was relaxed.
Did you guys go to Benihana yet, or are you going to go with Google tomorrow?
Oh, just sticking your head outside and ask Kenny and Trevor to get in here, please.
But the racers got down to business when the juice came on.
Okay, guys, power in 3, 2, 1.
In the Amateur International 15, Ed Saul was the top qualifier with a time of 2.242. Although not the fastest class, it was certainly one of the hardest fought. These were the drivers who made the main. It was an exciting 8 heats. Ed Saul turned to 66 on red, but former champ Bob Maxwell was just too consistent. Bob Maxwell finished first, Kenny Anderson second, and David Key third. In the Pro International 15, another world record was set when Ron Van Wagenen qualified at 2.0908. The competition was fierce. Urkel was first in the A semis, and Benny Justice was first in the B semis. This was the lineup for the main. The competition in the main was close throughout. It all came down to the final heat. It was Jason Bauer in first, Jimbo Kirby second, and Urkel in third.
We got to hear that, man. The great launching story.
They called it the Great Grape Incident.
Yeah, and the last NATS at Fort Jeff, me and Jim Swofford were one of my good buddies.
I'm Benny's pit man, and I'm also a USRA official.
I got glued out on the lead on, and so it was a track call. And
Benny did some work on his car during a track call, which is illegal.
You know, you're not supposed to work on your car during a track call, but I thought, well, I'll try it and see if I can get away with it. They said, did any USRA official see this? And Jim said, well, yeah, I did.
I'm not going to lie, being a USRA official, now that you asked me personally, so I raised my hand. Krista.
I'm sorry to interrupt. They need you at the track.
Okay, I have to stop.
I said, here's my pit man telling on me, and it kind of, you know, we kind of had some words, and went outside, and I said, well, we either going to fight or drink. It don't matter to me. I said, what you want to do? He said, well, I'm kind of old to fight. I said, well, let's go drink then. So we started, and we probably drank a bunch of beer. We had people coming down looking at all the beer on the table we drank, and so they finally quit serving us, so we went back down to the track and walked in, and somebody had some grapes. So I got a thing of grapes, and I'm eating grapes, and Jim's eating grapes, and the pro main's going on. I said, I bet, he used to be a baseball player, and I said, I bet you $20 you can't hit Mike Swiss with a grape. He said, yeah, I can. So he wound up, and he took and popped him right upside the head with the grape. And Paul Ciccarella's down on the other end of the track, and he's hollering, there's fruit rolling around on the track, and Mike's hollering, somebody's hitting me with things.
And this was in the pro main.
This was in the pro main. So I wind up, and I'm fixing to let it rip, and Doug Bauer says, if you throw it, I'm kicking both of you out. Over all these years, everybody thought it was me that threw the grape, but it was Jim Swofford, and he was the tech director of the USRA, and he's the one that caused all the trouble. So, you know, that was one of the good. There's a lot of them, but that's one of the best.
And for further information, I'd like you to know I wasn't too old to fight him. I just thought drinking would be more fun. You know? Never been in a New York hospital, and I don't think Benny had either. And I thought, well, we've been in a bar before, so we might as well try that first.
Leg is this. Leg him, Chuck, yeah! Yeah! All right, you're moving sexy now, man. You've just seen the Grand Canyon!
My name is Joe Salzman. People call me Chubby.
There we go, Chubby.
That's how I'm known around here, I guess. My home raceway is actually Slots. It's not even like Port Jeff. It's almost like you gotta have your best stuff out there.
A lot of their best stuff is in the racers' boxes. These kits contain everything they need to keep their cars running in top form. The day began with amateur C12. Earl Simpson set a new world record in qualifying with a 1.9161. During the amateur C12, it seemed like the cars were off the track as much as they were on.
I come up with a donut.
Now I gotta figure out where it went.
These were the drivers who made the main. In the first heat, Ed Saul was number 1, with Len Waterworth in a close second. In the second heat, Len Waterworth moved to number 1, and Bob Maxwell advanced to second.
All right, touch it.
In the seventh heat, Joe Diamond made it to number 1, with David Key in second and Kenny Anderson in third. During the main, the competition ratcheted up. You could see it on the drivers' faces. Brad Freisner took first, Shelby Thomas was second, and Joe Chubby Salzman was third. In the Pro C12 races, Tommy Flythe set another new world record, qualifying at 1.8831. And the 8 finalists for the main were... In the end, Tommy Flythe took third. It was Pat Ulardi in second, and Paul Buffe-Pedersen finished in first.
Power in 3, 2, 1.
That's gonna leave a
Richard
mark.
202. Good racing, don't knock the rolls down in the first turn. Here comes power.
There are old racers and bold racers, but there are no old, bold racers except in the Geezer race.
The thing for trying to come to a national, it's not winning, it's just making the main. You know, the main is the deal.
It's gotta be the controller. It can't be the track.
Dude, you were ripping like mid to low 2.0s.
Like many oldsters, these guys can get crotchety.
I'm on the right. Unhook the controller. Unhook the controller.
In qualifying, Philip Larkham ran a 1.6089, yet another new world record. To race in the Senior Group 7, or Geezer, you had to be at least 45 years old. Next year, the minimum age will be 50. Like other extreme sports, slot car racing can be dangerous.
We are going to solder in your back, man.
Ron Van Wagenen got drilled in the back when a Group 7 car took wing. Richard Kernut came in first, followed by Philip Larkham in second, and Vlado O'Cauley in third.
When I won the NATS of semi-pro in Orlando, I got as a prize a box, a slot car box. Real nice, the drawers and all that. So I bring the box to my room, put over there, and we went to party that night. at nightclub. I was walking through the hotel and I say, hey, my room, something weird. And some people talk to me and then start a mess with pillows throwing away. Every room was open and all that. I run to my room. When I grab the knob of the door in my room, I go, what is this? There was a frog wrapped in the knob of the door, like this, like a bulldog. How am I gonna open? I knock the door. My friend, what? I say, look at this. Oh, come on. So we fire the wrap around the frog and we start to kick the frog so he get in under the door to another room. So when I get in the room, I say, how are you? Oh, I'm okay. And he was with a funny face. What's wrong? Nothing. He opened the door for somebody else from San Martin to mess with my stuff. So my box was closed. When I left, my new box was open. And my box was closed. I say, hey, who closed my box? I don't know. So I grab the box, put on top of my bed, and I say, well, let's see, let me look again. When I opened that, Jesus, was around 200 little frogs inside of that thing. And they start boom, boom on top of the bed. And then I start to slap that thing was frogs for the whole freaking frog. Since then, the guy we used to call him the frog man. We didn't know how he got all those frogs to put on the box.
And I started racing about 1965. Just saw a slot car track and stopped in and was hooked. There was about 3 other fellows that hung around with us, Team Bula. We used to go down and race against the big boys, Stubbe and Anderson, and they would regularly blow our doors off.
The track's coming back. You know, people saying, hey, there's a track over here. I got picked off the street by a buddy of mine. He goes, hey, you know, there's a track open. It was about 100 miles away. And then we got there, and next thing you know, he's handing me a car. You're racing tonight. I go, oh, man, I haven't practiced in a long time. Well, I beat all the locals that night.
Well, I seen the ad in the newspaper back in '91, and when I was little, they had a slot car track in town, and I used to go over there and had some pictures when I was 6 years old holding my car. We went every Sunday. That's what we did. We went to the track every Sunday, and they had a big area. They had like 4 tracks, and you could play.
I have a nickname that's Buf. It's short for Buford. It's kind of a nickname I picked up when I went to my first wing car race back in I think '82. Good friend of mine, Dave Donnelly, I grew up racing with, learned a lot about being meticulous in building. See, I finished second in Group 27 4 years in a row, and then decided to just go pro so that hopefully one day I could race against the best and, you know, if possible, try to beat them all.
On August the 18th, 15 racers would vie for the amateur G27 top spot. In qualifying, Kenny Richen set a new world record with 1.7795. In the B semis, Roger Schmidt started off at number 1, followed by Brian Struck in a close second. These are the racers who made it to the main. In the first heat of the main, Marcelo led in first, with Lynn Bunch at a close second, and Brian Struck in third. Roger Schmidt managed to hold on to the top spot for the last 4 heats of the main, nabbing number 1. Following Roger was Marcelo Trigonelli in second, and Lynn Bunch in third.
Take a car from the track to the pit when the power is off. We've had enough of the yelling and screaming and abuse. I will eject people from the race. I know everybody gets heated, but let's just deal with it.
More along like a PK 75. Second round, probably 64 and a half.
The day's qualifying time was taken by Marcelo Serra with 1.721. These were the main finalists.
Fair on, fair off for the national championship. Here comes your power.
Attitudes became more serious as the Pro Group 27 races began. The speeds of the cars become noticeably faster, as men who have pulling the trigger down to a science. In the second heat, Bufe had a handle on number 1 with Marcello in second and Swiss in a close third.
Take me out of there, please. I had to change tires. My car was fine with the other ones. I don't know about these.
Hey, I'm Paul Cassins, and I publish the Old Weird Herald online zine. It's at oldweirdherald.com. And what I'm doing here at the National Championships, as I do for a lot of races I travel to, is I provide what I call almost live coverage of the NATS. It's not live, it's not on moving camera, but I get the race results immediately and type them onto my website, and I take pictures and upload them onto photo galleries covering the NATS. And the racers, all the racers that can't be here have grown to depend on following the races online.
In the third heat, Swiss moved to number 1, with Bufe down to second and Vlado in third.
Oh, Bubby. Bubby.
In the fourth heat, the race order stayed steady, with Swiss, Bufe, then Vlado.
Then 42 seconds left in the heat. Bufe the leader, followed by Vlado, Mike Swift.
So what's your strategy for making the main today?
You know, that's one of those things you wish you could bottle. Just run them hard, try to keep my focus and stay out of trouble. Listen for crashes going around ahead. But this is a really good group of guys. The competition here is, of course, you know, world class.
In the fifth heat, Bufe advanced to number 1, Swiss was bumped to second, and Vlado stayed at 3.
Probably the one thing that got me hooked was I went to the Hinsdale Manufacturers race. I was, participant in the biggest slot race of all time. Kind of the ironic part was back then the pros were a little bit surly. I put a little glue on my tires and, revving my tires up. I'm out there 6:30 in the morning with Mike Tango and Pete Von Air, and Mike goes, Bot, I can't believe it. This kid, he's gluing the chute. Anyway, I took off down the straightaway and took a few laps, and all of a sudden Tang goes, Bot, this kid's got horsepower. That was it. When you had a pro acknowledge you, you're hooked for life.
In the sixth heat, Bufe stayed at number 1, with Vlado up to 2, and Swiss in 3.
Nice catch, Wendell.
In the seventh heat, the same 3 racers held their spots, with Pat, Peter, Mike, Marcello, and Rich following.
It started in 70s, but it was popular, but starting slow down and drop down the number of the racers and the number of the racers. So today we have about 3 raceways, 3 clubs.
By the 8th heat, everyone was at the top of their game, with any possibility of the 8 racers making number 1. Yet again, it was Paul Bufe Pedersen with first, Vlado O'Cauley with second, and Mike Swiss with third.
that time the Japanese guys used to come a lot. I remember I put a lot of firecrackers in a silver tape, ground them, put all them, stick it to the silver tape, glue the door, fire one, knock the door, and run. When the Japanese guys open the door, they start bang, 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 bang.
A veteran of slot racing, Forrest Watchers begins his daily routine.
Hey, you look like me. Hey, you racing? Racing Sunday?
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Okay, then I am.
Okay. And you're kidding too. Where? Finger. Bring your card. Order's good. Smells okay. You're not making any move. Everybody's still fast. Hopefully somebody else. Did you go by somebody? Excuse me, he's 10 out of the move up now. He's looking good now. All he's got to do is keep his head out of his yang and he'll be fine. Then drive it the same then. You're 10 out now. You gained 10. Chris burnt. Motor's great.
8 feet, 197.
Good. Yeah, well, no, he actually pulled a bonehead maneuver when he got next to that guy going into the finger. He should have backed off. Good move. Maybe you are getting smarter.
I'm doing what you do.
Okay. Not scary. Still red. Palms gold. Running 2 O's. 1-9. 1-9?
Put it back in its snaggle pen. Okay.
Only a day before the Pro Group 7 races, all racers are at the top of their game. In the first heat, Bufe started at number 1 with Vlado in second and Marcelo in third. Top qualifying time for the day was set by Marcio Pascoalin with 1.5194. These were the semi-pro G7 main racers.
Good blood.
In the second heat, Bufe was number 1, Marcelo moved up to second, and Swiss was number 3. In heat number 7, Bufe was number 1, with Vlado in second and Swiss in third. World record holder Marcio Pascoalin took first, with Philip Larkham in second and Bruno Dotto in third.
Well, they've come out with a new rubber. It makes the car a good tenth and a half faster. It lays a glaze of the rubber on the track, and it's creating a slime and slippery. And we're not getting our lap totals that we would normally get. I mean, the track is definitely faster than it ever has been. I mean, like I said, we're setting world records, but you still have people that want to, they want those fast times to make it, make their car faster, and they're not really thinking ahead about the control, the handling aspect of the car later on.
I had a friend, his name was Jose Avalone. He was a guy who needed the money of manufacturing the toy cars or slot racing products to pay his university. I said, well, I designed them. He left the guys who built the chassis all here. I'll start to do my own chassis and keep doing it. And I was like a playboy at that time. So I used to design the chassis so he can put them together and sell under the name Red Fox.
Hi, this is the current world record holder, Forrest Watchers, and I'm going to add a little commentary to this Pro Group 7 race for you. Here we go with qualifying, the biggest rush you get out of the weekend because you're going to go as faster than you ever have before.
1708.
Here goes Gugu pulling the trigger.
1551.
All left right having a little problem.
1708.
Little problem in the dead man gluing there. People had a lot of problems in the dead man. And the lead on. Done, thank you. All trying to
get that top spot.
1704.
Mike Swiss. There's Lotto.
1659. 1908. 1741. 1658.
Here comes Butte, ready to pull the trigger.
1604.
Gugu to loan me a motor.
Oh man, I'm. It's Gugu's motor, and no. Hey, Chiefs.
Going into qualifying, my car is really set up just for the race. Anything I get in qualifying is really going to be unexpected.
That's a 1.5 second rush. Don't blink. Now they want to analyze my car, so I can't get it ready for the race. Everyone wants a piece of it. That's Gugu's motor. Gugu's motor. He loaded it to me second round. He goes, "You want to go 1.5?" I put you 1.5. I said, "Oh." You want to talk to me right there?
Yeah.
Oh, no problem.
Start to say and spell your name.
My name is Forrest Watchers.
How long have you been doing this?
Probably on and off for about 30 years, depending on whether there's tracks available or not. Luckily, there's one available right by my house. And this is it.
Tell me what it takes to win.
Patience.
These were the drivers in the Pro Group 7 main.
Okay, I know there's a lot online and a lot going here, so please keep the yelling down. Don't be yelling at the turn marshals. Let's be very sportsmanlike. There's a rule in the book that we're going to enforce. Hey guys, good luck to you. Let's be kind to each other.
Race just started. Butte looking intense as usual. Everybody's not smiling now like they were at the beginning of the race. Still the first heat. Couple wrecks. I'm having a problem on red. A little bit of traffic in the finger causing some havoc. Everybody's going as fast as they can, trying to put the pressure on everybody else.
Well, you made it, man.
Yeah.
Is this your first Group 7 main?
First main at the NATS. Yep. Well, you know, in Group 7 NATS, you know, I made some mains in the NATS.
So what's the strategy, man? You're just going to go for it?
Go for it. Go for it. All they told me to do is use the controller. They take care of everything else. Pull the trigger. I guess I'm the trigger monkey now.
Benny just went up in smoke. Puffed the motor.
Power is the end. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Jose Mario. That's me having a problem with my car. I just ballooned a comm and the armature went out of rounds and out of balance actually. PA having a little bit of a problem in the finger. Not very happy about hitting hard.
The tracks determine everything about what our equipment looks like. A lot of people think it's the other way around, but it's not. It's the faster you build a track, the more the equipment changes to take advantage of that. Most of the tracks now are very smooth, very easy, and we've made cars that can go very fast around these tracks, but unfortunately they don't stay on very well.
Second heat just ended. Everybody's yelling for their cars to be picked up where they're at.
Back away from the track. Let them through, please. Let them get through.
Larry Blanton having a little problem trying to figure out who he's pitting for.
Power in 3, 2, 1.
You barely got back in time. Benny yelling for his car. Sometimes the braid doesn't get straightened out correctly.
I back start in 1975-76. Some looking around in the garage and my room. My dad bought a plastic track with some small cars. I started from there, and then he followed me from there also. So here we are now. 130 seconds, yeah. And then we start on seeing the big tracks. like the short tracks that we have in Brazil, and being involved in business. I stopped for a while, about 5 or 6 years, and then I came back in 1992. So I've been on the road for these 13 years at least.
Power in 3, 2, 1.
Everybody's had a problem so far except for Buf, so he's built up a little bit of a lead. Starting to look a little more confident. Mario Schoen is right on his tail till he bent his frame.
Nice throw. Don't wave your finger at me, Jim. I don't want to see it.
Once somebody has their car in their hand, you're supposed to start the power. Here we are on TV.
It was short and sweet. So I took a hit in the finger. Oh.
Here I'm being consoled that I'm pretty much out of it. Heat number 5. There I go, flying off past the dead man. Didn't have enough glue in the lead on. Not hooked up. Buf having a little problem in the finger there. A little bit of traffic.
You can't see him.
Here I am yelling for my car.
It's unfortunate Ciccarello wasn't here because he's definitely one of my fiercest competitors as far as wing car racing. There's Swiss, there's MSP, there's Gugu, there's P.A. Watson, obviously 4-time champ. And you know, there's many racers that any given Sunday can win the big main event.
On the brake, on the brake, take the brake, back me off.
As the race goes on, the cars get hurt a little bit more, so they don't handle as good. So the wrecks start to intensify. There goes my car up in smoke. People checking out the standings.
That's bad. I knew something bad happened. That was bad.
Well, did you hit somebody on the straightaway or somebody?
No. Medona.
I have a good feeling with my car. I have a good feeling with my motor. I have a good feeling for win today. Take me out. Take me out.
7th heat. There I'm wide-eyed trying to just get out of last place. He was starting to see that if he stays out of trouble, he's going to win the race.
Is that chunk that was on the track stuck to the motor?
Power in 3, 2, 1.
Lots of people watching the race.
You're not allowed to eat during the break.
Always remember to stay calm amongst the craziness. It's hard sometimes.
Power in 3, 2, 1.
Heat number 8. All Buf has to do is stay out of trouble, and he's got the race won. He's just about ready to break loose because he knows it's within his grasp, and nobody's really within striking distance. As soon as he gets about halfway through the heat, the race is really over because he had a big enough lead. starting to feel it now. Cars flying through the air, people pushing a little harder than they usually do, with it being its last heat. The new 4-time national champion.
Paul, you just won your 4th Group 7 national championship.
God has been good to me and my family, and I'm very grateful for that. Just continue to work hard, try to do my best, help others the best that I can, and when it's all said and done, hopefully leave a positive impression.
You were just happy just to have made the main, and you ended up 2nd, man. How's it feel?
It feels great. It's hard to explain how it feels. You know, my goal was to make the main and finish in 2nd. It's the best thing I've ever done in slot racing.
That's just the way it goes. Sometimes you're the bug, and sometimes you're the windshield. And today I was the bug on the windshield. I ran a motor that I didn't test long enough. It was a new armature, and the commentator went out around and glazed the comm, and I couldn't run it anymore. I was running around like a dead duck right there. They would have taken me out in the turns, going a lot faster than me, so I had to pull up.
It wasn't the cleanest race, but you have to rise above it. Sometimes the chaos is overwhelming, but no matter what, you have to stay composed and do your best and move on.
You showed a lot of tenacity out there. You just wouldn't let it go, man.
Never say die is my middle name, so.
Never give up. Just keep going, because in these things, in the open races, 20 laps means nothing. I mean, it's only like 20 laps is 40 seconds, and anything can happen. I just kept going, kept digging, and had a good crew working with me. Gugu was my team captain, and Jim was helping him, and had Paul Sterrett gluing, and all I had to do was sit down and rest. It was great.
New world record holder, Forrest Watchers. Forrest got that $500 from Traveling Light Media. In 8th place, Lotto Crowley. In 7th place, Forrest Watchers. And he's always stashing the money. In 6th place, Peter Kirchhoff. In 5th place, Jose Mario. In 4th place, P.A. Watson. In 3rd place, MSP Mario. First time he's ever made a pro main. Eddie Justice. And the winner of the 2005 Group 7 Open Cars USRA National Champion for 2005, Paul Youth Pedersen.
From the old pros to the new kids on the block, everyone rose to the occasion at the 2005 NATS. There was world-class competition on the track and world-class good times off. So start prepping your car for next year, and we'll see you in the main.